Halito, halito, everybody. Welcome back. Welcome back. This is CT for the NYC Indian, and today we're going to be reviewing Life After Lockup. This was episode 15. I hope you guys can see me. I hope you can hear me. I hope everyone is well. So what's going on? What's going on? Last night was Felon Friday. So I watched the episode last night. Now, this was a little bit interesting because they brought back Brittany and Marcelino again, which I absolutely have no plans on covering for this episode. Oh, and by the way, so this is going to be brought to you from a mixed urban Native American perspective and a secular perspective. So, all right, I just need to get that out of the way. And if you guys enjoy the video, please give it a thumbs up and share, subscribe, all that good stuff. So we start off the episode with Monique and Derek. So they wake up and he was banished to the basement last week, right? And he is now coming upstairs and he's trying to woo her. She's on the phone with her sister, and he decides to make her pancakes and candles and just kind of show some romantic gestures because he knows he's in the doghouse, right? So he attempts to woo her, and I don't know, it was just distracting for a minute, right? Like the hairstyle, I thought that's very interesting. It kind of looked like goat horns, right? The way it was going back, I said, okay, that's an interesting way. Just wear it down. I think it looks better when it's down, or even all up. I don't know. What the hell do I know? So anyway, but I mean, I am a hairstylist. But anyway, so going on, so they're talking, and he's saying that his problem is, he wants more trust from her, and she wants unfettered access to all of his communications, wherever he's going, whomever he's hanging out with. She wants access to that. And he's like, no, but you got to trust me. Please, trust you for what, Derek? Come on. You've been cheating on this woman left and right, and she's sitting up there taking it. I don't know why. So then we see Sean and Sarah, and they're sitting down and talking, and Sarah's saying, hey, listen, it's time for us to tell Abby, her daughter, that Anthony is her father. Now, I don't know. This might be a production thing because I kind of feel like she might already know, but anyway, Sean is expressing his feelings about how he felt, and even though I don't feel sorry for Sean, and I'm going to be very honest about that, because he went into this relationship with total lies and deceit, and what you build, the foundation you build your marriage on is the one that will carry you through. Now, he's saying like, I was really taking this seriously. Basically, I wanted Abby to see me as her father figure, and it sounds like he was really invested in being Abby's father. But here's the thing, I mean, and I do think that is good, but at the same time, it's like, you have other kids from Kelly, your 6 other children, some of which are crying every time we see them because they don't get enough time spent with you, and you keep going off with other women. So it's hard for me to kind of, if he didn't have other children, or if at least he was doing his best to stay on top of maintaining his relationships with his other children, then I would just be giving him a round of applause for being so invested in Abby. But it doesn't make sense in this case. It's almost like, let me just get rid of my old family. I'll talk to my oldest son, who I can talk to online, and have games with, but the other ones, like especially the girls, it seems like he's not that he doesn't love his kids, but I feel like Sean really is just not there for them, because we've seen it in previous seasons. If you guys didn't watch the other seasons of Love After Lockup with him. So anyway, so she says, okay, we got to set up this meeting, and maybe you can be there. And Sean, he's not really ready for it. He feels like a little bit intimidated or whatever, because number one, when they broke up, there was no, talking about Anthony and Sarah, when those two broke up, there was no definitive closure, right? And it was only because of his addiction, Anthony's drug addiction, that Sarah was like, okay, we can't do this. But they never really had that full, okay, I'm done with you, I'm not going to see you kind of thing. So because of that, I mean, understandably, Sean is feeling like, well, she could leave me, right, for this guy. And he's younger, and he's better looking. So anyway, so now we go over to Mike and Justine. So Mike is conflicted about Mocha's advice, not even advice, his insistence upon him taking his ring off and pretending that he's this single guy when he's not. He doesn't want him being like the married rapper. Apparently, married rappers can't sell records. I mean, since when, right? But so he says that he's come to the decision that he wants to put his family first, and that, maybe, I don't know, like maybe just being there for his kids, and not acting as though he's a single guy running out here in his 30s. Maybe that might be a way that he could still be and still make his do his music. But speaking of Mocha, now, did you guys read about this? Mocha, Moka. You can look him up. Stargasm, actually, or sorry, is it Starchasm? Starchasm, sorry. Starchasm put out a story about him, about Mocha getting involved in some shooting that wound up being a fatality on Mocha's part during an interview. Anyway, I don't want to mess up all the details to that story. Look it up. Starchasm. Starcasm, and Mocha, Moka. All right, look that up. That was a really interesting story. So I'm thinking, maybe, even though this was filmed back before that incident happened, because apparently this happened like a few days ago with Mocha and, this interview, and this person, no longer walking this earth, shall we say, because, YouTube has like certain restrictions on certain words that you can't say. So maybe Mike, was like, even before this incident happened during the filming, he was like, well, maybe Mocha's not chalked up all to be what he says he is. And those little gold records he had on the wall, honey, listen, Alibaba and eBay, that's all I'm saying. There's a lot of things you can do with 3D printers and stuff. I don't know if those are real or not, but he's making it seem like, he's Jermaine Dupri. He's this famous, producer. And I'm like, I never heard of him. But I mean, I'm not into rap like that anyway. So maybe he's out there. But from what I'm hearing too, nobody else has heard of him either. But Michael did have some sort of success before with the what was he on? Was it like the Latin Grammy Awards or something like that? He was like, and I was like, oh, okay, I didn't quite realize that, but we got that little information a couple of episodes ago. So now we're over to Puppy and Amber. So Amber and Puppy are on their way to Amber's house. Now remember, TC didn't want Amber there, or didn't want Puppy there before, because of her connection with Eric and the alleged, pharmaceutical situation, alleged. So they get there, and it's kind of like this awkward thing between Puppy and TC, but they seem to kind of get over it a little bit, right? He never seems fully comfortable, but he's like, okay, well, you can be here, and you're welcome here as long as you're not starting any mess. I don't want any mess here. And she's like, yeah, of course, I left all that behind. I left Eric and everything. And then Puppy confronts Amber about her drinking. And I said, oh, okay. So, this is, finally we're having this conversation, because we've all seen it. Every episode, even before the loss of the baby, talking about Amber, we always saw her. She was always like, kind of booze hounding it a lot. And I was like, what's going on with all this drinking, right? Because at first when they came out, it seemed like Puppy was the one who really had the drinking problem, but then right alongside with her there was Amber. So and then she's talking about her liver and this and this and that, but then it seems like something was really coming out of Amber, and she's saying that she starts getting into an argument with TC. She's like, well, she's talking to both of them at the same time. And, well, first of all, she goes to the bathroom, right? And when she comes back, she kind of interjects in the conversation that was already going on between Puppy and TC. So Amber's saying, so the problem is that he doesn't talk to me. And, we just went through something very traumatic. I'm really still devastated. I'm still dealing with the pain from that. But he hasn't even once, said anything. And I'm like, wow, he hasn't had one conversation with her. So I guess he's really bad at, I don't know, expressing himself, or I mean, I don't know what's going on with him. But anyway, so then she starts to escalate, because listen, Amber goes from 1 to 100 real quick. And then she starts yelling at him and telling him about how he hasn't been supportive for her, supportive towards her, and how he even blamed her because he's like anti, taking care of certain situations when it comes down to women's reproductive rights kind of situation. I don't know if he's anti-politically, but in this case, he didn't want her to. But I'm thinking, well, do you all think that she is in a place, or you as a couple are in a place to have a child? No. Sometimes things happen, you do what you got to do, and then you're careful to prevent a pregnancy again. That's all you can really do. So, I think she's feeling bad because she felt blamed, or because she's being blamed, or was blamed initially. She said, at first you blame me, and then the fact that he won't talk about it. So it maybe, because till you say, all right, I'm gonna go ahead and roll on into my southern talk here for a minute. So till you say he's a real southern fella. So I don't know if he's down to all them rights to life and all them things like that. Women taking care of their bodies, making decisions for themselves. So I don't know. Maybe he's got some internal conflict based off of political views, perhaps, or religious views behind that. So he's not really processing it well, and she's processing it even worse. So now we go over to Taylor and Chance. So Bobby is coming over, right? She's coming over to hang out, and what's her name? Taylor is telling her about how he's been acting, and she goes, well, let's just go for a little ride. And she tells Chance that he has to stay back and watch the kids. Now, Chance is absolutely disgusting. That is absolutely disgusting what he did. Oh, he belching all loud, like all air. That's disgusting. The nasty air and just the sound of it, and not excusing himself, and just being so blatant with it. He's treating her as if she is just a piece of garbage on the street, because you don't do that in front of a woman that you respect. You know what I mean? You at least excuse yourself, right? So now she goes, okay, well, we're going to leave. I'm taking the baby. I want you to watch the older girls, and no company, by the way. He's like, what do you mean I can't have anybody over? And I'm like, so you were really planning to have somebody over? Because I thought to myself, why did she even have the need to tell him that? And I guess because she knows him better than we do, that he would do something as trifling as bringing some woman over. Oh, Chance is so, oh God. I hope she has learned after baby number 4. I hope she has learned. Don't be out here like having kids with these men, girl. You can't, you just can't be doing that, because now thank God she's still young. So, it's not like she's older. Now she's going to be still raising kids into, young children in her 50s or something. But still, you're 24 or something like that. That's it. You know what I mean? You had your kids. That's good. Be good with that, unless you move on and you actually do wind up meeting someone and marrying someone who is worth it. Then go on and continue to have kids. But like in this situation, it's not my place to tell somebody. I know it sounds bad. It's not my place to tell someone what to do with their fertility. But look at the situation, though. Come on. My heart goes out to Taylor, but she's just not the brightest thing. I'm sorry. So anyway, she's finally fed up, though. We've seen some kind of shift in Taylor, and I hope that this is going to be something lasting and permanent. I hope she just kicks him out, because remember, she's the one that called off the wedding. So that was smart of her. So I'm glad she's done that. I hope she's not thinking about changing her mind and maybe deciding to go ahead and marry her, because that's what they do. When they mess up like that, they find out that you found out that they've been messing around with somebody, then all of a sudden here comes the marriage proposals. Derek, you see that, right? That's what Derek's doing with Monique. All the love bombing and all of that stuff. But Chase is not quite in that space at this moment, but he may get there eventually if he sees her pulling away. So now we have Sean and Sarah and Anthony, and they all meet up at the park. And Sean, introduces himself. They introduce each other, whatever. And Anthony extends his hand for a handshake. Sean says, I'm not ready for that right now. I'm not down with this. Sean is upset. And then he basically walks off, right, after like a couple of minutes. So now he's over in the car, and he's like all upset. Sean is at the point of tears. He's crying in the car. He finally decides to come out and then talk to the guy. And I think what it was kind of like what he said in the car, he was expecting to see something different. He thought he was going to see, Anthony the crackhead. When he sees Anthony, the not so bad looking, you know what I mean, in like a working class kind of decent looking kind of way. You know what I mean? I'm not saying he's a GQ model, but but he looks better than him, and he's younger than him, and he ain't got all them babies, and they got a baby together, right? And they have history, unresolved history, unclosed history, unfinished history. So once all that process in that little brain, that little teeny tiny little walnut sized brain is Sean's, then it was like, oh, wait a minute, okay, he's not as bad as I thought he was going to be. Oh, wait a minute, so maybe he could actually take her away from me. And hey, like I said, he built his marriage on a foundation of lies. So could happen, definitely could happen, because Sarah's sitting up there steady going, oh, but it's I wouldn't, I let him know that things are done between us, and it's we said we're done and it's over and we're not getting back together. But when she said that in that moment, I don't know about you guys, but looking at Sarah, I was not convinced. And you just saw her body language and stuff like that when she was talking to him over the phone when she first met his sister up in that cafe. And I thought to myself, wow, she really seems to have like a good chemistry with this guy. But at the time on the phone, I don't remember if it was just me or the scene, but I didn't see his actual face on the phone. I just remember seeing his sister's face because she was sitting across the table from Sarah. But once I got to take a look at him, I was like, oh, okay, yeah, he's not that bad looking. Okay, I get it. And he's still young and stuff like that. So, of course, those old feelings are going to come up. And now she's got middle-aged Sean with the dad bod and the 7 kids, right? So, I understand why he's intimidated, and he should be. Hello, we ain't forgot Destiny, okay? And she almost crashed your wedding, all right? He owes me $70,000. He owes me. He took away my car. Remember Destiny? She was a mess. Ooh, Destiny. Destiny's got a whole bunch of kids, too, and she doesn't even have, I don't even know how many of her kids live with her. I think only, I don't know. Yeah, who knows? But anyway, because we saw on the show, there were no kids in that show. But we know that she has children. So I don't know where those other children are. And, I saw a picture of her recently with somebody. She's with a new guy. It wasn't the other. I said, oh my God. But anyway, enough of Destiny. So, so now we go to Mike and Justine. So after he's decided to keep the ring on, he says that, I'm just going to, I don't want to spend too much money right now. And it was like, he's talking about his rapping, and it sounded like Mr. Mills Montana, Mr. Michael, a.k.a. Mills Montana, has decided to maybe put the rap on the back burner just a little bit. And I said, okay, maybe we're seeing a shift. Maybe the price, the sticker shock is like, starting to resonate, is starting to have some effect on him. And now remember, they're in Vegas. So they decide to go look for a place. So they're looking at some houses, and their budget, mind you, is $600,000. So why in the hell, please tell me why they're looking at a $1.9 million home? That made no sense whatsoever. And those people, listen, those realtors, they probably knew they didn't have the money for that. They're just like, oh, we're on WeTV. Okay, this is good, some good publicity. Somebody's going to be buying this house, right? At least we get to show the house on TV. So, Justine's sitting there. She's like, but honey, this is so great. This could just be perfect for us. This could be wonderful. A grand place, a brand new start and everything. What kind of money do you think he's working with? 1.9 million? Now, let's say you had even $500,000 to put down on a down payment. Okay, that's a very good down payment. Even if you had that kind of money, your monthly mortgage would be so high. What he's looking at is to buy a simple little house that, is bought out cash, outright, no mortgage, just pay the taxes and whatever, so he can focus on doing his artistic stuff and making the sneakers. Now, what we also got revealed to us in this particular episode, which I thought was interesting, was how he's getting this money. Because I think maybe the producers had him like tease this out, because we wanted to know where this money was coming from. Because a lot of people online were like, oh, he's probably back, he's living off of old, proceeds from the pharmaceutical sales, or maybe he's back in pharmaceutical sales. And I said, no way. I did not believe that. I did not believe that for a minute. What I thought or at least, maybe there's, still some money lingering behind from whatever, like whenever before he went to jail. But I just figured he was in jail for a long time. I bet that money would have been spent up by now, right? I just thought to myself, okay, he's got to be doing something. Now, he said he's still making money off of the shoes, and I guess that's a possibility, right? But in addition to that, he is getting royalties from his music. Now, remember I said earlier that a couple of episodes ago, they showed him on stage at some Latin Grammys or something like that. So if he was, if you were like on some Latin music show, Grammys or something comparable to that, then you may be a little bit bigger than we thought. Now, I'm just not into like the Latin rap scene. So, I never heard of him or anything like that, but maybe he has been making royalties. So I guess that kind of makes sense. Okay. So that kind of answers some of the questions. So maybe the 6K or 600,000 is a combination of what he made in royalties in addition to what he's made off of the shoes. So I think if he wants to be smart, don't get roped in by your wife telling you that she wants something nicer and bigger. I know what it's like to be looking for a house and get suckered in by that house that's like, way above your price range. It just doesn't make any sense. And I hope she really comes to her senses and doesn't even put that pressure on him to get something that expensive. If he's got 600K, he can just like actual liquid, like just cash. Oh my God, you can definitely get a house. And if you want to be in Vegas, you can get a house in Vegas, right? But, I'm with him. Go to Texas, get yourself something that you can afford and not have a mortgage, right? His mind is in the right place, right? And then buy the house, and next thing you know, then you can just get yourself a job, and Justine can work or not work, whatever. And then you got your house paid for, you're just paying for property taxes, and all those other children that you have. You got 7 kids, so somebody's going to have to work in this situation, and adding a mortgage on top of that is going to be tough. So we'll see. I know a lot of people say like, oh, I'm bored with Justine and Michael, but to me, this is exemplary of, I don't know. Well, maybe I should say it like this. I know we want to see like all the crazy stuff and the drama, but this is life after lockup. So we want to see how they do. Can they make it on the outside world? Recidivism rates are so high in this country because we don't properly, what's the word? Oh my God, when you rehabilitate. We don't properly rehabilitate people in this country. Like if you look at prisons, just go to YouTube and look up prisons in Norway. Look at prisons in some of these other, more advanced socially democratic countries. Prisoners, some of them, when they have really good behavior, they can even leave the prison for a day. Like they have day passes. Like it's crazy. Like we think, the handful of states that allow conjugal visits are so like, whoa, I can't believe they're allowed to have, a little apartment with their spouse and be able to have like intimacy and stuff like that. Oh, that's nothing. See what they do overseas. And it seems so like, oh my God, they're being too kind to these inmates, but you know what? They really work on rehabilitation and getting them back into society. They give them programs. We have programs here, but we have the prison industrial complex in this country. It is profitable to put people in prison. So instead of, working, putting all your efforts and funding into getting people out and getting them, back into a normal way of life, we focus on keeping people in or getting them back in and just, filling up prisons. So I think that, oh my God, listen. Oh, I started talking about the prison, the prison complex system, but I lost my point. But anyway, I say all that to say that we want to see people do well. We want to see them come out and have like, a good balanced life and be able to have a marriage and stuff like that. Now, listen, are there some people that are just nasty criminals, don't learn shit, and they'll hurt people at any given opportunity? There will always be those people, right? But there are people that, what's the numbers? How will we know? What's the percentage of people who really could, if you really gave them the right focus and don't let them hang out with other people that are just teaching them other, how to be a better criminal, because some of them just come out learning how to be more skillful criminals. But like, put them in some sort of mentoring programs, or take the very serious people and reward them, and let the other people see, oh, if you do good, maybe this will take some time off of your sentence, or maybe or maybe you'll be able to be outside, and even if it's sweeping up the highway, it's still, it's like you're outside, you're doing something, you're not in the prison all day, just something. I just feel as though our prison system in the United States, a modern, wealthy country, is an embarrassment. It's a global embarrassment. So please, I know it's a little bit sidetracking, check out the Scandinavian. They look like, I've seen efficiency apartments in like Fleabag motels that looked worse than some of these little prison cells. And it may sound a little bit cushy, but let me tell you something. Sometimes you treat a person like a human being, they come out and, they can rejoin society. They're not, they don't feel like they have to ask someone if they have to poop, or, just things like that. So anyway, they're looking for this house. So, Justine, she's just crazy. I don't even understand what her thinking. There's like absolutely no logic behind him spending all this money on a home. So now we're back to Monique and Derek. So they go to the club, right? So, they're all dressed up. He's got his shades on. He's all ready. He's got a floss, right? Because they're out there doing appearances and, look, I'm on Love After Lockup. So he gets there in the club, and it is like you can hear a pin drop in that place. There was nobody in that place. And he's like, I want to turn up. Like, where's the crowd? He wants his adoring fans. And she's like, no, this is just me and you. This is how I like it. He's like, did you set this up like this? She's like, well, this is just how I like it. So next thing you know, the bottle service waitress comes over and she's asking what they want. And before it's like even time for her to really leave, Monique is scooting her way. She's like, okay, you're good. Okay, we're done. Like, okay. I was like, damn, Monique. But, the girl was young. She was skinny. She was pretty. She had pretty hair, good skin, So I guess Monique's like intimidated by all of that stuff, right? So then she's asking him, like, what did she say? She was asking him something. I can't even remember, but, she just had like such an iron grip on him at the club. And then he decides that he wants to, get up and walk away. So he decides to take a little stroll over to the lavatory because, it's too boring to sit there in a club with, I don't know. I couldn't even hear the music, but probably for the sake of filming, they didn't even have it on, or it was on low or something like that. And there's no people. So then we go over to Chance and Taylor. So now Chance is delivering groceries, kind of like, I don't know, Grubhub or something like that. Oh no, I said it. It'll probably be a Grubhub like ad that'll pop up on my video, which I hate. But because he still has not told her that he's laid off. So all this time, all these episodes, she does not know that he is unemployed. Okay? But if she's smart, she should have some kind of idea. But I don't know how smart she is. So he decides to go meet up with some woman. Oh my goodness. So then Bobby and her sister, they say, all right, you know what? Something's going on. She's like, he's been acting funny. Something's up with him. I know something's going on. I found this woman in his text messages. She used to send him money when he was in prison. So what do the twins do? The twins decide, you know what? Time for a pull-up. So they are sitting up here and they are waiting, okay? Because they got their little plan. They're going to pull up on his ass. I can't wait to see that next week. I love a good old pull-up, honey. So now on the last scene, we have Monique and Derek. So Derek, what did he say? Derek, oh, okay. So now, all right. So when Derek was in the lavatory at the club, we heard somebody go, ooh, oh, ooh. I said, oh, so who's in the bathroom, Derek? Or production, are you playing with us? Because it definitely sounded like that girl was in the bathroom, like the bottle girl or somebody was in the bathroom with him. And I just cannot believe Mr. Oh, I'm turning over a new leaf and I'm doing this and I'm making all these changes, Mr. Derek. I just do not believe that he is really, he's so he's so contrite and he's going to do better. He needed to walk away from her so he can get some attention, and he needs female attention. Obviously he thrives off of that with all the string of endless women, because he's dealing with about, he said, 10 different women since he's been with Monique. So, even if he let 3 of those go, there's still like, I mean, that is just like a walking visit to the clinic. Anyway, so now they're back home. And Derek reminds her that, what did he remind her? Oh, that's right. Listen, guys, sometimes I'm trying to read from a distance. I can't even read my own handwriting because I'm trying to write real fast when I watch the episode. So he reminds her that he wants to spice up the relationship, and that she agreed to, when he was in prison, that when he comes out, to a menage a trois. Okay? And she's like, Derek, don't even talk to me about anything like that right now. You've broken the trust completely. There's no way I would ever even, entertain something like that with you. I don't even know what you're talking about. Now, her family is on the way. So the 2 sisters, I call them Red Pants and Gray Pants because that's how I remember them in that fight, honey. It was Calandra and I don't remember the other little sister's name. They come over with a guy. Now, I don't know if that guy was her brother or who he was. If you guys know, you can put it in the comment section below. But yeah, so they come over and, they're like, kind of grilling Derek and stuff like that. And, Derek is like, no, I just love her. I want to be there for her and everything like that. And, they're talking about like what happened after the fight. And he's like, oh, my sister, she's just crazy or whatever. But I'm here with Monique. I'm here for Monique. Monique is my girl and everything. So next thing you know, there's a knock on the door. So who's at that door? All right, now we got some cliffhangers. I want to know who he was in the bathroom with, and I want to know who's on the other side of that door. That seems to make him a little bit nervous on this particular episode. So it was good. I had a good time. I enjoyed the episode. I thought it was interesting. Blaine and Lindsay. Okay, give me just give me like my retainer and let me sleep with my dental appliances, because I just fell asleep. She's having her usual tantrums and stuff like that with Blaine. She moved out. She's got the cat. She's got the dog. She's got everything in the car. She's going to her mom's house. I don't know what's going on. Blaine, I feel bad for him. He's on the phone. He's crying. Please, please, I just want you to come back. I don't want you to leave like this. You can't keep telling me you're going to leave me every time. I just can't keep dealing with it. You gotta just stay. Just work it out. We can work it out. And she's like, I can't keep doing this. And if you get in one of my cars, I swear to God, I'm going to call the police. I'm going to call the cops and I'm going to tell them that bitch is stolen. And I said, oh boy, listen, she's too much. I don't like the storyline. It just puts me to sleep. It's absolutely boring. But hopefully you enjoyed my southern rendition. But, yeah, Brittany and Marcelina, I guess they're working stuff out. So, life after lockup, like I said, I don't mind this because I like to see couples that are dealing with their different ups and downs. And, Mike and Justine are my favorite right now as far as the actual concept of the show, right? And I think maybe some people don't like Mike and Justine only because like they always have posts that are very positive and it kind of seems boring, right? Oh, she's about to have a baby. Oh, it's boring, it's boring, it's boring. But to me, it's kind of interesting because I want to make sure he doesn't go back to prison. He seems like he says what he means and he wants to do better. But, there was also one thing that I noticed in this episode with Mike and Justine. Justine was expressing her fears about Mike, when they were talking about, Mocha taking the ring off, telling him to take the ring off and everything. Justine was saying that, one of her fears is that, he'll up and leave because she said, it wasn't just prison that took you away from your kids. Even before you were in prison, you were not there with your children. And I thought, oh, okay, that's a little insight. See, I didn't realize that because he kind of, he came out of prison like Father of the Year, like Mr. I've been doing it right the whole time, but prison just had me locked down. I just couldn't get to my babies on time, right? So now that we see that, he had a little issue, being present as a father. But, I guess I shouldn't be so surprised. He was in the pharmaceutical industry, right? The non-legal kind. So, But, so Justine's fears are real. But Justine, why would you get with somebody that has that kind of background if that's the case. But anyway, listen, they're married, they have a child, so we're just looking forward from this point on, and I hope she has a successful birth of her baby, and I hope he can really get it together, and I hope he can straighten up and fly right, as they say, and just stay that way. And so this is the premise of the show, what it is really like, what it's really like on the outside, and really trying to readjust to society, and taking on large responsibilities like family and kids and stuff like that. So I'm interested in seeing how they progress. Brittany and Marcelina, on the other hand, I could have said that about them like 4 seasons ago. It's called Life After Lockup. Not 6 kids, 2 dogs, 14 houses, 3 moves, and a wisdom tooth removed, after lockup. That's too much. They just, we got to see what it's like. Now you get to a certain point, okay, she's out of prison, she's beat her addiction, or I don't know if you ever totally beat it, but at least to the point of not having, she's not, she's clean, she's still trying to fight to get her other kids back that she lost before she went in prison. So, I mean, they are doing what you do after you have adjusted to life. So I feel like that's why, their story has kind of come to a full circle to me. I don't want to watch them. I mean, I think they're nice people, and I think Marcelino, there's he has a kind heart. I think they're good people. I'm just tired of watching them, basically. So that's it, guys. I mean, I hope you enjoyed this episode. I thought it was good. Let's see what else is going on. So it's Saturday. So on Monday, I'll be back with Seeking Brother Husbands, 90 Day Fiance the Other Way, and I'll be back on Thursday for Married at First Sight. So I hope you guys are having a great weekend, enjoying the spring. This is the first time I've been able to wear like a little springtime sweater. If you guys are interested in sweaters, by the way, I do have on my channel, I have videos where I talk about knitting. That's one of my hobbies. If you guys are interested in stuff like that, I also discuss Native American topics. There's going to be some changes to the channel coming up very soon, and I'll make that announcement once it all happens. But that's it. Thanks to all my people that are watching, all my subscribers, and thank you for all the new people who took the time out to watch the video. I think I made all my announcements, right? Okay. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, share the video with your friends if you like. Check out some of the other videos. Take care, stay safe, and chipisa lacho.